Can everyone please keep the exits clear? There's a few over there. Please, we cannot block these exits. Please step aside. Respectfully, just want everyone's safety is first. Can everyone please keep the exits clear? There's a few over there. Please, we cannot block these exits. Please step aside. Respectfully, just want everyone's safety is first. Can everyone please keep the exits clear? There's a few over there. Please, we cannot block these exits. Please step aside. Respectfully, just want everyone's safety is first. Keep the exits clear. There's a few over there. Please, we cannot block these exits. Please step aside. Just safety is first.
Please be seated. My name is Rabbi Joel Levinson, the rabbi here at Midway Jewish Center. And I want to begin our service by sharing that the Jewish people respond to the news of a death with three Hebrew words, which are Baruch, Dayan, Ha'emet. So I'd like to invite all of you to repeat after me these three words from the tradition. Baruch, Dayan, Ha'emet, who is praised is the judge of truth. And the truth is that we prayed, and the truth is that we davened, and the truth is that we sounded the shofar to crash the heavens, and the truth is that we lit extra Shabbat candles, and the truth is that we wanted a different end to this story. But we come together this morning as a community to offer support and stand in solidarity as we gather to honor and remember Omer, Maxim, Ben Ronen, Halevi, Orna, Esther. Omer's middle name is Maxim, named for his grandmother, and he lived up to his name. The son of Ronen and Orna, brother of Daniel, grandson to Simcha and Tamar, watching on the live stream along with aunts and uncles and cousins, and your presence here today. All of you is a eulogy of sorts, and perhaps more eloquent than anything any one of us could craft. I'm sure you know the basics. Omer was born on October 14th, 2011, a few weeks after September 11th, and grew up within walking distance of this congregation. Went to Shalom Daycare, the Mid-Island Y, Plainview Schools for kindergarten before enrolling at the Schechter School of Long Island. Along the way, there were summers at Young Judea Camp Sprout Lake. Omer's director, Helene Drobenir, is here. He crossed the country with USY on Wheels, was USY Divisional President, Metney Regional President, and Metney Jewish Center Youth of the Year in high school. Captain of his soccer team, his volleyball team, his basketball team, wearing number 24 for Kobe Bryant. Schechter School of Long Island head of school, Ofer Hiltzik, is here. A lifeguard at Camp Ramah Nyack, the national Ramah director, Amy Cooper, is here. He deferred his acceptance to Binghamton University for a gap year, enlisted in the IDF, became an officer in the IDF, was stationed near Gaza, and this first responder, we now know, was murdered by Hamas terrorists on October 7th, 2023, and they continue to hold his body hostage. Dear God, we thank you for the many personalities with which you have peppered this world, men and women whose sacrifices leave us breathless, inspired, awestruck. Their example and their lives are the greatest evidence of you. For what you have accomplished, it's much more greater than anyone could imagine. And their efforts could only have been generated by a power far greater than any one of us could know. And if he is now a memory, we can be sure that that memory is a blessing itself. And so we thank you for that as well, as we vow never to remember Omer, Neutra. At this moment, our tradition guides us as we turn to the Psalms. I'd like to invite the Rabbi Emeritus of Midway Jewish Center, Rabbi Rafi Renk, who officiated at Omer's bar mitzvah here in 2014, for the recitation of Psalm number 23.
Thank you, Rabbi Levinson. Mizmor LeDavid. Adonai ro'i lo echsar. Binot deshe yarbitzeni, al mei menuchot yanahaleni. Nafshi yeshovev, yancheni v'magal tzedek leman shemo. Gam ki elech begeit salmavet lo ira ra ki atai madi. Shiftecha mishantecha hema yanachamuni. Taroch lefanai shulchan neged sorarai. Dishanta v'shemen roshi kosi revaya. Ach tov v'chesed yerdefuni kol yemei chayai. V'shavti b'veit Adonai la'orech yami. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. God makes me lie down in green pastures, leads me beside the still waters, restores my soul, guides me in the straightest of paths, for that is the essence of godliness. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you, Lord, are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and kindness shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Zichro livracha, whenever we think of Omer, may it only bring us blessings.
Just a housekeeping note, if you haven't yet, please double check that your personal cell phone is turned off or the ringer is off for the duration of the service. And as a reminder, we do have an overflow room set up in what we call our Ulam Gadol with about 400 or 500 chairs, if you'd like, where there's a live stream available. Psalm 121. Shir Lama'alot. Sa einai el hehari mi'ayin yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. Al yitain lamu raglecha, al yanum shomrecha. Hinei lo yanum v'lo yishan, shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha. Adonai tzilcha, al yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka, v'yareach b'layla. Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra, yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzeitcha uvoecha, me'ata v'ad olam. I turn my eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? That's the question that the psalmist asked at a time, a moment like this, and this is his answer. My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. Adonai will not let your foot give way. Your guardian will not slumber. The guardian, the shomer of Yisrael, neither slumbers nor sleeps. Adonai is your protection. A guardian at your right hand. By day, the sun will not strike you, nor the moon by night. Adonai will guard you from all harm and guard your life. Adonai guards your going and coming now and forever. Amen. We have a number of speakers from the family this morning. We're going to begin by hearing some words from Orna's friends, Smadar, Iona, and Rachel. She'll make her way forward. Iona Gar, Smardar Chain, and Rachel Cronin.
Omer grew up, and being the friendly, charismatic, high-achieving boy that he is, got deeply involved in many endeavors, among them sports, friends, USY, Mechina, and finally the Israeli Defense Force. And along his journey, he became etched on the hearts of many. But the Omer that we know so closely, and who is etched upon our hearts, is the Omer of childhood, the free-spirited child running around with his Long Island cousins. We are Omer's Long Island, Israeli-American aunties and uncles. We came together as young mothers and fathers, bringing up our kids together and filling the gap created by the distance from their biological cousins. Omer was tough, but always good-natured. He was both mature and silly at the same time. Omer read brachot at the Shabbat holiday tables. Omer goofed around playing parts in plays and skits that the kids would put on. Omer was at the front on hikes and explorations. Omer made delicious hummus in the kitchen. Omer tossed the ball, and he fought at tug of war with gusto. But Omer's heart melted when the little baby girl joined the group of cousins. Omer was a leader and a role model to the crew, and gently guided and advised the younger ones as they also grew up and followed in his inspiring footsteps. Our sweet Omer, you are not in the tunnels, you are resting in peace.
For 423 days, we have lived with the hope Omer might be alive. We marched, we prayed, we shouted. It was in our heads from the moment we opened our eyes until the moment we fell asleep. Checking the news first thing in the morning was part of our routine. On the night of December 2nd, at 3 a.m. in the morning, I received a phone call from my daughter crying from Israel, crying hysterically, telling me that Omer was killed on October 7. It was shocking. The most recent turns of events, Eden video was just released. The new US administration was sending message that this war needs to be ended. The Prime Minister of Israel announced that the time is right for a deal. But now, Omer is gone. All his childhood, through the years, Omer was a significant part of our lives. We had travels together many times. We spent many holidays together. Omer was the knowledgeable one, the scholar. He always had something to contribute to the conversation. He loved playing board games, and even more than that, he loved winning. Only after was Omer taken hostage, I realized how accomplished he was, how many connections he had, and how many lives he touched. It might sound cliche, but Omer sacrificed his life for the state of Israel. Omer is a hero.
Omer, Zikaron Olivracha. Our mantra when we spoke about Omer always was Omer Chazak, Omer Yagzor. Omer is strong, Omer will return. Why then did we lose our strong yet kind boy? Why then did we lose our handsome yet humble boy? Why? Why? because some people chose war over peace, others hate over love, and yet some others a political agenda over their very own moral compass. When I look at Omer, I see his eyes looking back at me and saying, no, no, don't give up yet. Fight, fight to the finish. What I said to do. Bring the rest of them back home, get our country to heal, and above all else, my family, my beautiful mom, my loving dad, my brainy brother, get them to stay strong and survive. Rest peacefully, dear Omer, and we will cherish your beautiful memory forever. We should not forget the 101, the 101 left behind. Bring them home now. Thank you.
Tודה rabba. And I'd like to invite up one of those cousins with whom we grew up here, Ophir. Sorry. Sorry, Ophir.
Hi, my name is Ofri. I'm a close family friend of Omer's. Me, my little sister, Omer, Danielle, the Daubers and the Gars grew up in this little Long Island bubble together. Because all of our extended families were in Israel, these families and these kids became an extension to my family. Every Shabbat, birthday party, family dinner, and family vacation we did together. As the story unfolds, I catch myself asking myself how I should feel. Should I be sad that this tragic event occurred and that you'll never get to go to college or come to visit New York? Should I be angry because of the malfunction of your tank or the achingly long period of ambiguity? Or should I be grateful that you didn't suffer in the tunnels and that you left this world exactly how you were, the optimistic, caring, and giving person that you were? The truth there lies somewhere in the middle. The hardest part about this is I feel like there are no more words to say. What I would give to hug you once more. You've been in my dreams almost every night, just being yourself and doing mundane things, going grocery shopping, playing basketball, just being around each other and our families. Something I will cherish about you is your calmness. I remember we would FaceTime chat when you were on base, and you'd always have a smile on your face, looking forward to what's at the Cheder Ochel and saying how akol beseder and you'll be out soon to be with your friends in your apartment. This is just really sad. It's tragic. Omer, we love you and we will continue living our life in your name, and your memory will not be forgotten.
Thank you, Ophir. We're now going to hear from two of Omer's personal friends, beginning with some words from Alyssa Mendelowitz, followed by Hayden Roth. Alyssa?
Hi, my name is Alyssa Mendelowitz. I have been a classmate with Omer Neutra since the first grade, and I have had the privilege of being his close friend. In Judaism, a Shem Tov refers to someone with a good name, a person with a positive reputation and high moral character, a person that upon hearing their name makes you smile and think of the positive associations attached to that name. Someone who has a Shem Tov not only impacts everyone around them, but does so effortlessly. It's not the type of label freely given. I think I speak on behalf of everyone who knew Omer when I say that Omer truly deserves the title of Shem Tov. Omer was able to achieve this Shem Tov from a very young age. I remember back in fourth grade when I felt nervous and insecure about being in a lower level reading group with only 3 other classmates. I was fixated on perception and had trouble feeling confident reading out loud in our class. But then there Omer was every day sitting right next to me, and I watched him smile confidently as he read the words of Banicula aloud, and I felt more at ease. He inspired me and showed me I could confidently read just as he did. Omer was only satisfied if he was able to use his confidence to empower others to succeed, whether it was in a small task or a big dream. Omer was also incredibly intelligent. One of my favorite memories with Omer was being in our 10-student Hebrew class, where I would get to sit right across from him. I admire his abundant knowledge about every topic having to do with Judaism and Israel. I did not only want to listen to whatever Omer Neutra had to say, but I wanted to find a way to learn from him and become more like him. To me, Omer wasn't just a classmate or close friend. He was someone that challenged me to want to do more and be better. It's not often in life you find someone like Omer Neutra who inspires you through every interaction you have with them. It's not often you have a classmate that teaches you by answering a simple question the teacher may ask. Omer was never afraid to be himself. In fact, he embraced every opportunity to do something silly and outlandish and make someone laugh. He wasn't afraid to dress up in a costume for any event, like the banana costume he wore in the 5th grade. He wasn't afraid to speak in weird voices he would make up or perform intricate dances and songs with friends. As we watched Omer confidently embrace every part of himself, we felt inspired to become confident like him. Omer, as silly as he could be, was also the type of friend from whom I and so many others sought out advice. Whether it pertained to academic or social life, I always wanted to hear Omer's perspective. Omer was unbelievably insightful. He challenged himself to constantly learn more and was willing to share that knowledge with those around him. Omer inspired us without trying to be inspiring, and he had an innate ability to make the mundane special. As many of you have heard time and time again, Omer was known as a natural-born leader. He ran for class representative, became the Metni USY president, a peer connector, a lifeguard at Camp Ramanayak, a member of Tzofim, and really just seized any opportunity he had to lead, because for Omer, life is about sharing experiences and joy with others. Being a member of any of these incredible communities helped Omer to feel content, but he wouldn't stop there. He needed to give back to the communities that gave so much to him. That's who Omer is, and it's who he always will be. I've said it before, but I'd like to reiterate today that it wasn't just Omer's natural leadership ability that makes him extraordinary. It is the way in which he was a leader. It was the big and small efforts he made to be inclusive, compassionate, caring, and kind. Omer truly embodied every Jewish value that a parent would want their child to encompass. The values that Schechter, USY, Ramah, Tel Yehuda try to instill in children through these programs are all embodied in one person, Omer Neutra. Now I want to use the rest of my time to say thank you. First to the Neutras, who have shared Omer with me, all of their communities, and with people around the world. Thank you for allowing me and so many others to feel embraced by your family. Thank you for allowing so many others to feel like they are a part of Omer's story. I love you. Now to Omer. This past year or so, I have tried to channel your strength and resilience. I think you would have held on to hope for yourself and for others. And without being here, that is exactly what you did, because you now exist in each and every one of us. And to honor your memory, we will live every day with courage, strength, and compassion. We will try to emulate your infectious light by smiling more when walking into rooms and going out of our way to notice those who may feel alone or nervous and try to put them more at ease. We will speak passionately about our Jewish faith and love for Israel, as you have always done. We will try to lead our lives with confidence, empathy, and drive, just as you have. Omer, I feel so unbelievably privileged to not only have known someone as extraordinary as you, but to love someone as extraordinary as you. I look around this room, and this isn't even a fraction of the amount of people you have come to impact in your life. You are the type of man, son, brother, friend, peer, Jewish adult, and leader we all strive to be every single day. In my 8th grade yearbook, you wrote, "Dear Alyssa, have a nice summer. I hope you have fun in camp. Love the person who will love you forever." Now I write, "Dear Omer, I am relieved to know for all this time you have not been suffering or tortured in the ways I expect you might have been. You are someone who is bigger than life. We are all so lucky to have known someone as special as you. You will always be our hero. Love the person who will love you forever."
Thank you, Alyssa. Hayden?
Nobody should ever have to do this. No 23-year-old should ever have to stand in front of you and eulogize his childhood friend. I'm too young to talk about a friend in the past tense, yet here we are, and it hurts me more than I ever could have imagined. I don't know how to accurately wrap up 10 years of friendship into words, so I'll start at the beginning. I met Omer at my first USY event in 8th grade. I knew no one, and I was nervous to step into this whole new world that was out of my comfort zone. I'm not going to lie. I didn't love the first day of that USY convention until we went back to the host home that night. There, by a stroke of luck, I was placed with Omer and his friends from school. He could have easily stuck with his friends he'd had for years, but instead, he drew me into the group. With his big signature smile and laugh, and from that moment forward, I gained friends for life, many of whom are here grieving with me right now. That is who Omer was. In fact, he said as much in his own words in a speech he delivered at our last USY event as he left his post as regional president. He said, and I quote, "Don't leave anyone behind. Approach the kid sitting in the corner alone and become friends. USY works when you have a click, and all of a sudden you realize you're in the best place possible. Make that click happen for others, even if it means putting your bromance with your best friend on hold for one lunch. Everyone always talks about leaving your mark, both on people and on your surroundings. This is how you do it," end quote. When I read his words from 5 years ago, I couldn't believe how wholeheartedly Omer embodied them at all times. Even as he rose as a leader within USY to the role of president, he never saw himself as above anyone else, and I would often see him take the time to connect with others, which included the younger USYers, just as he spoke about. As I look out into this crowd, his wisdom from 5 years ago rings true. He has left an indelible mark on countless numbers of people around the world because of his kindness. Omer stressed in his speech the value of not leaving anyone behind, which he demonstrated until his final moments when he stood bravely with his soldiers, even in the most terrifying situation possible on October 7th. I was lucky enough to live close enough to Omer to see him outside of just USY events throughout high school. Weekends with him were filled with playing basketball, talking about the Knicks, driving to get way too many spicy nuggets in the middle of the night, or just spending time with him as he came up with some goofy new activity. When he decided to join the IDF after high school, it didn't shock us because that's who he was. He had a commitment and love for Israel unlike anyone I had ever seen. And his decision to join the tank unit was in an effort to keep peace and protect the land he cherished so dearly. I got to see this firsthand when I lived in Israel after I graduated college. The first time I saw him, we got food, and he proudly told me about how he was extending his service time to earn the commander position. I could see it in his eyes and hear it in the way he was speaking that this meant everything to him. To be a leader, a role model, and a hero to his men, just as I had seen him become in USY. The next and final time I saw Omer was a night that I'll never forget. It was Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel's Independence Day. And he brought me to his friend's party, which was absolutely incredible, before we took to the streets of the Shuk, dancing and singing throughout the night and ending up on the beach. I look back at a video I have of him that night often, an Israeli flag tucked behind his ear as he sang along with everyone to the music. I cherish that memory and every memory I made with him in my time knowing Omer. Little did I know that that big bear hug goodbye he gave me on the beach that night would be our last. That the implication of the parting "see you soon" would be limited to only in my dreams. He was taken from us too early, murdered by terrorists with hateful intent to kill the people of Israel. We must fight for the release of his body along with the other remaining 100 hostages immediately. They and the people that love them cannot suffer any longer. I miss you, Omer. I will miss you and love you forever. I take solace in the fact that you're now at peace, looking down at us with that signature grin. I'll see you again one day, my friend. But for now, I will celebrate your life and attempt to make my mark on the people and my surroundings in the way you have taught me. Rest in peace, Omer.
Now we'll hear from Omer's parents, Orna and Ronen, Neutra.
My beautiful son. My strong 6'2", big, smiley boy. I felt so small in your powerful hugs. Our heart. For a whole year, waking up from sleepless nights, I repeated the Modeh twice every morning, once for myself and once for you. I give thanks before you, sovereign, who lives, who endures, because you have renewed my breath of life with providential kindness. How abundant is your faithful care. I pled for a sign of life. I didn't get any. Instead, we received on a daily basis for over 423 days, signs of hope and love. Notes in our mailbox, flowers, meals, prayers for Omer and good deeds, and thoughts from all over the world. For over a year now, we've been breathing life into your being, my beautiful boy, with no physical sign back from you. But with hope and love of so many, we kept going and going, keeping you alive. Speaking your name from every outlet and every stage, pushing away any hint of despair, not stopping to breathe or to take in the deep pain of your absence. We envisioned images of your reunion, focusing on our fight for your release and for some clarity in the face of the unknown. And now things are clear, but not as we hoped. And your void, a big hole
in my stomach. But we are not alone. You were here with us on this unbearable journey, keeping Omer's light alive. Our beautiful Omer, so much love and goodness and chesed were committed in your name as you are, heart and light. Since we moved to the United States 25 years ago, we were challenged with building bridges across the ocean. Our family and heart in Israel and in Denmark, in our community and life here. With many challenges, we felt the luckiest, richest people in the universe. But you, Omer, you truly showed us how it's done. The way only children show their parents. As you moved back to Israel following your own full heart and decided to join the IDF and fulfilled your true love for the land and its people. Big words aside, with all the challenges, you were very happy, and we missed you a lot. You were on a journey of your own, touching people with your magic wand of light wherever you went. You touched them, you made best friends. As your friends like to say, you were a lone soldier, but you were never, ever lonely. And the boy who had 3 bar mitzvahs, one at Schechter, one in this community, and one in Israel, now has memorial services and vigils all around the world. As you've inspired so many, Omer, you're now leaving many broken hearts. You gave too much too soon. And I pray that beyond the grief, we will find some comfort in continuing to spread your light. We will miss you forever and love you forever.
How do you speak about your son that you've been fighting for 14 months, hoping, praying he survives the most horrible conditions on earth? And yet you will get to see him. And then one moment, one knock on the door, and it's all over. You have to internalize. You will never see him again. We spoke about Omer. We spoke about you in so many places. And honestly, I'm losing all the words. For 14 months, we traveled back to Israel, Washington, D.C., Doha, Qatar, London, Milwaukee, Chicago, and so many places, telling Omer's story, telling the hostages' story, on rallies, on media appearances, on meetings with politicians, to anybody who was willing to listen. We called on world leaders, country leaders, to save him and to save the others. And Omer's story spoke to so many. This Long Island kid who had a unique spark that touched so many people with his smile, with his shy, big presence. On the extremes that Omer liked to live on, the serious, committed guy and the goofy, stupid, most ridiculous behavior, and a friend, and everything in between. Omer taught us what a full commitment looks like, taught us to go all in. And that's what we try to do so hard, to exercise, hoping to save him, get to hold him, get him to recover and rebuild his life. We were so focused that we totally ignored other options, that he might have been killed during this battle, as he rushed with his team to protect the border with their tanks, with their bodies. We are told Omer gave brave, mature commands to the other tank that he was commanding and to the Golani troops and split them apart. It saved their lives. Omer, you are a hero. Gibor Israel. But the news we got yesterday, the day before, took all our air out, away, left us breathless and empty. How do I say farewell to my sweet boy who loved to compete, as we heard, in games, in words, basketball, ping pong, even pickleball. He couldn't stand losing, but he always had a big, big smile. And Omar always got in trouble, got injured, got hurt. If we went on a trip to Puerto Rico, he jumped into the sea and broke his foot. During a basketball game in Schechter, he opened his eyebrow. Actually, his friend did it. And he called him to say it's okay. When he went into the bushes to get a ball, his face was covered with poison ivy. And of course, during his service, he lost his voice so many times, and his eyes were all the time red from the desert tank dusts. Yet always that smile, big smile, never stopping, never giving up. Omer, how did you know how to make each person feel special? And how many girls' hearts did you break? And to his true love, Israel, Omer was to give it all in, and he did. Though he was son of a college, he decided to do the gap year and the Mechina, and he fell in love with his peers, and he couldn't go back. Like all other Israelis, they have to serve, and he decided and told us, how can I go back to college when all my friends are about to serve this country? It's my turn to show my love to Israel in action, not just in words. And so he joined them. The Armed Corps, became the tank commander, the trainer, the role model. He chose to exercise his service with signing, to extend his service with signing to an officer's course, and insisted to be on the front line. He loved his team, and they loved him. And on October 7th, they were the first responders to rush to the border breach, not knowing the magnitude of the event, not knowing what they were about to face. They did what they could, but they were taken hostage. And now it's Israel's turn to show its love and get him and all his team and everybody else back. With more of 100 hostages still there, 101, their families are craving like us to get them back. Our struggle, our fight has changed gear. We see closure and rest to Omer. Make sure his memory will live on. And just as he touched so profoundly so many people, so many places, his memory must be a blessing to us, his family, and to the larger community. Rest in peace, my boy, our beautiful son. We and many people will never forget you. Our hero boy, Gibor Israel. The 22 years you lived on this earth were so full, and we were blessed to be chosen to be your parents. We will love you and miss you every single day. Omer's brother, Daniel.
I have a distinct memory of being 8 years old in the car with Ima, and we were talking about friendship. After going down a list of my friends and talking about them, she asked me, "What about Omer? Is he your friend?" And I said, "Omer is my worst enemy and my best friend." It's true. Like most siblings, Omer and I were in contests as kids. We would always play, fight, compete for the last slice of pizza. And he wouldn't let me into his room when his friends came over. But that he was my best friend was true all the same. We have so many countless inside jokes that we share, little stories and day-to-day events, references to books we read or people we met, games we made up, imaginary friends we shared, traditions we rigorously maintained. Maybe my favorite of our traditions was the bro talk, as it was called. Other traditions, like Omer forcing me to play NBA 2K with him anytime we were at home together, or him destroying me in Settlers of Catan, were fun, but this one was different. Once in a while, if I hadn't been with Omer for some time, or if we were going to be in a hotel room together, he would declare that that night there would be a bro talk. After our parents went to sleep, we would sit together and talk about everything. Our dreams, our friends, our goals, our struggles, the things that don't get talked about or even considered unless you take a moment and stop. I can't describe how important they were to me. The last time we talked was like that. It was a week before October 7th. I was in college. I told him about my fun and my struggles in college. He told me about how he was trying to find a new apartment and how things were heating up on the border. But the higher up said he and his soldiers didn't need to worry. Things were calming down. But between those worries and hopes, we laughed so hard that I worried I would get a noise complaint. And now it will never happen again. There will be no more bro talks. There's no one to share our inside jokes with anymore. All that remains is an array of photos, unread messages, Omer's NBA My Player on our Xbox, the jacket that I'm wearing that was once his, and my flawed memory. They have not yet given us a grave. Through the pain and the struggle of the last year, there have still been bright spots here and there. Often there were moments when I would see her think of something funny, and I would look for Omer to tell him about it, but I couldn't find him. Instead, I found his smile and his laughter on decaying street pole posters across the world, on signs of protest and newspaper clippings, and on my shirt. In those photos, he is perfectly preserved. As I near him in age, more and more people tell me I look just like him. And very soon, I will be older than he ever was. I have to grow old without him by my side. At least when I have to explain to my children and grandchildren who Omer was, I will have thousands of interviews, articles, and documentaries to reference. One of the first things I said when I heard the news on Sunday night is that there are just too many people. Too many people love Omer. Too many people hold Omer as a symbol of hope, of what is good in the world. Too many people place their faith in his return. Too many people would be broken when they hear he is gone. I also thought back to President Biden's words to my mother when he met her 1 year ago. He said, "Sometimes I think we raise our kids too well." Both of those ideas are a dark distortion of the truth. The truth is that Omer changed the lives of so many people for the better, brought so much love, energy, power, motivation, and family into our communities. Omer showed us all that what makes a meaningful and happy life is always lifting up others and thriving together. That his work is done does not diminish the magnitude of his impact. And we cannot allow ourselves to think for even a millisecond that doing the right thing by protecting and serving others is the wrong thing, just because there are people in this world that long to see good deeds and innocent people punished. It is too late for us. There are about 50 families just like ours who still have a hope. Their loved ones can still be saved. Every march, every rally, every trip to Washington or Jerusalem to plead for Omer's rescue, it was all too late for him, but it was not in vain. Now everyone knows Omer's story, his sacrifice, his endless heart, and now his memory will live forever. Now his story has uplifted the story of our people. The greatest honor we can give to him is to rescue the people he gave his life to protect. We must continue his life's work and keep serving life. Omer, there was one more thing I could say to you. I love you. You are my best friend. You made me who I am. Thank you for everything. Lala Tov.
I just want to say כמה מילים בעברית. I'm going to speak to in Hebrew for a second. כמה מילים בעברית למשפחה שלנו, המשפחה המורחבת. זה יום קשה לנו, הייתה שנה קשה. התמיכה של כולכם, הנוכחות שלכם בחיים שלנו, העוצמה שאתם חיבקתם אותנו, הרמתם אותנו, האהבה שהרעבתם עלינו, לא נשכח לעולם. עומר יהיה זיכרון חזק אצל כולנו, ותודה על מה שאתם עשיתם בשבילנו לאורך כל התקופה, ולאורך כל חייו של עומר. הייתם המשפחה. ותהיו לתמיד. תודה.
Orna, Ronen, Daniel, thank you for sharing your hearts with us. On behalf of the family, I want to acknowledge some of our elected officials who are here with us this morning. Governor Kathy Hochul is here with us this morning. Thank you for your words and your support. Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman is here with us this morning. I thank Governor Hochul for arranging the state police to be here, and County Executive Blakeman arranged for a large Nassau County police presence, and Executive Blakeman directed the police department to treat this like a first responder. That's the protocol. Treat this one like a first responder. Appreciate all of our elected officials and your voices. Congressman Swazi couldn't be here in person, but he asked if we would present to you, Orna and Ronen and Daniel, this flag, which flew over the United States Capitol, along with a letter in this bag. We welcome Congresswoman-elect Laura Gillen, Senator Steve Rhodes, Assemblyman Charles Levine, Nassau County Legislator Mazi Phillip, and Arnie Drucker, Supervisor Joseph Saladino, Town of Oyster Bay Chief of Taxes Jeff Privado, and Council members Vicky Walsh, Lilka Marka, and Laura Mayer, members of the POB Board of Education, Syosset Board of Education. I have this book in my office. I've had it for a number of years. It's called A Voice Called: Stories of Jewish Heroism by Yossi Katz, now of blessed memory, Zichrono Livracha. There are about 32 chapters here profiling different Jewish heroes over the centuries. For example, there's a chapter on Hannah Senesh, who parachuted into Hungary in 1944. Herself a poet who wrote a poem called "A Voice Called and I Went." Omer heard the call and he went. There's a chapter on David Marcus, who graduated from West Point and who helped to build the new Jewish army in 1947. About him, David Ben-Gurion said, "There were many who could have come to help, but only one who came to help. Omer went to help." The book on its cover is that of another lone soldier, Michael Levin. He died on August 1st, 2006, killed in Lebanon. Yossi has since passed away, I think about 2 years ago, from cancer. I wish that Yossi could write a sequel, because if he could write a sequel, there'd be a chapter for Omer, to add Omer Neutra into the chronicles of first responders and soldiers who serve up the Jewish state on a silver platter. As Orna reminded us, Omer was the connector. He created community wherever he went. And Orna and Ronen and Daniel, you fought tirelessly, relentlessly, asking yourself every day, what can we do to help bring Omer home? We stand in awe, and your strength gives us strengths. He's yours. He's your son, your brother. But today we gather with broken hearts to acknowledge the murder of Omer, who made everyone feel like they were on his team. Omer isn't just a member of Midway Jewish Center. He belongs to all of us. We learned on Sunday night that Omer had been murdered on October 7th, 2023. Sunday was Rosh Chodesh, and as Orna said, Omer had his bar mitzvah on Rosh Chodesh. In fact, as you said, he got to celebrate his bar mitzvah 3 times, 3 bar mitzvahs, each on Rosh Chodesh, the beginning of a new month, the Jewish calendar, which tells you how smart and savvy Omer Neutra is. Because he knew that he could read the same Torah portion on 3 different occasions, 3 bar mitzvahs. And at the time of his bar mitzvah here at Midway 10 years ago, when Rabbi Rank interviewed him in advance of his bar mitzvah, we asked him, Omer, what would you do if you won $10 million? Omer said, I'd give tzedakah, I'd buy dad a Porsche, I'd buy mom a bigger kitchen. And then Rabbi Rank asked Omer and Orna and Ronen about Omer. What do you think about your son? He's 13. He's very mature, the best helper when he puts his mind to it, and a wonderful smile. That was at Omer's bar mitzvah here 10 years ago. 2 weeks ago, we had another bar mitzvah, like we do almost every week. 2 weeks ago, we had Ezra Honig's bar mitzvah. Ezra Honig, like Omer, went to Young Judaic Camp Sprout Lake. And in the door walks a younger sibling of one of Ezzy's friends from camp, who came here for the bar mitzvah. A 9-year-old who sees Omer's picture in the main lobby downstairs. Sees the poster. And this 9-year-old says to his mom, I know him. I know that kid. I know Omer. How do you know about Omer? His mom says. I learned about him at camp. I learned about him at Camp Sprout Lake. Which explains why Helene wrote to the camp community, Omer loved camp, basketball, and above all, life. His smile reflected his passion for living every day to its fullest. Omer did that. A few weeks after October 7th, we started wearing these dog tags. My heart is captive in Gaza. Halev sheli shvui ba'aza. And it still is. Because there are still 101 hostages there from over 20 countries. And as Rachel Goldberg told us time and time again, from more than 20 countries, from multiple religions. Jews, Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus. We learned from you, Rachel, how to advocate for Omer and for all the hostages. From you and from John. Now we can say of Omer, by Yasaf Elamav, he's been gathered unto his people. And we will work to bring his body home. But his neshama, his soul, you can see that smile and you can feel his presence right now. And in this moment of darkness, I want to encourage you to see the light of his life. For our Omer, like Chana Senish, answered the call. Yesh kochavim. There are stars. Sho'oram magia artza. Rak kasher hemam tzmam avdu ve'enam. There are stars whose light reaches the earth only after they themselves are no more. Yesh anashim. There are people. Shezivav zichram me'ir kasher hem atzmam enam od betochenu. Whose memory lights the world after they've passed from it. Orot Ela, these lights. Hamavhikim b'chashecha halayla. He ma'amrim la'adam et haderech, which shine in the darkest night, are those which illumine for us the path. There are stars whose radiance is visible on earth, though they are no more. The words written by Chana Senish, profiled in this book of heroes. She was captured, tortured, and killed in 1944, a kochav herself, a shining star. Her poetry teaches us that even when a person's body has left the world, their memory continues to illuminate our lives. And like a distant star that guides the way, the memory forever inspires. The night seems dark now, and on a dark night, we see the shining star of Omer's light, the kochav, the star. This war is unfortunately probably still a long way from being done. So what do we do now? Well, what would Omer do? He'd show up, he'd take responsibility, he'd set an example. So just look at the sky and you'll see a star that burns so bright. That is Omer's star shining the way. To be a Shomer Yisrael, a guardian of your people, both within and without. Today we honor Omer's memory by taking responsibility for the Jewish future. Let us each become, like Omer, a Shomer Yisrael, a guardian for the safety, integrity, and goodness of our people in covenant with God. Shomer Yisrael, Shmor She'eritz Yisrael, guardian of Israel. Guard us, the remnant of Israel. Make us the guardians of the memory of those who are no longer among the living, of the safety of our brothers and sisters. Teach us to represent your goodness and love to all that live. Alava Shalom. May Omer rest in peace. Zichrono livracha. May his memory always bring us blessings. May God avenge his blood. Omer, since we learned of his passing, has been promoted from lieutenant to captain. He is now Captain Omer Neutra. I invite you to rise for the salute to arms, followed by the El Maleh Rachamim, the memorial prayer, first in Hebrew and then in English. Cantor Adam Fry will be leading the El Maleh. Captain Omer Neutra, we salute you.
El Male Rachamim. Shochen Bameromim. Hametzem Ruchanechona. Tachar Kanfei Ashchina. Memolot Kiroshim Odorim Kezor Rakia Mazim Et Nishmat Omer Maxim Ben Ronen Halevi Orna Esther Shehalach Le'olamo Meganayden Temenuchato Ana Baal Harachamim Hastirehu Beset Knafecha Leolamim Otzor Mitzvor Achayim Het Nishmatzo Adonai hu nachalato veyanuach mishalom Mishkavo Venomar
El Male Rachamim, exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure, to the soul of Omer Maxim Ben Ronen Halevi, Orna Esther, who has gone to his eternal home. Master, mercy, we beseech you. Remember all the good and kind and so many worthy deeds that Omer performs here in the land of the living. May his soul be bound up in the bond of eternal life, and may he find rest and peace. Say amen. Just some brief announcements. You may be seated. Brief announcements. There is no burial at this time. Family will be sitting Shiva here at Midway Jewish Center. Hours starting this afternoon at 4 p.m. from 4 to 7 p.m. today, Tuesday. Tomorrow, Wednesday from 10 till 1 and then 4 to 7. And Thursday from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. I'm sorry, 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. on Thursday. May we gather for good occasions in the years ahead. We're going to begin by inviting Ronen and Orna and Daniel to come out of the sanctuary. Right, you want to head out? All right, we're going to bring you back out. All right, Rachel, John. Okay. Out of Medwood.
We're going to ask everybody watching the streaming in the back two rooms to please stay in your rooms at this moment. While the family leaves, we ask that everyone rise. If our elected officials would like to follow the family downstairs, you may. We are all going to remain in this room till they have all exited and escort them out with Achenu, if I can get Cantor Fry back. We're going to ask the media to please stay put in the corner till after everyone has left the room. Elected officials have an opportunity at that point as well to speak with the media if you should so choose. Here you are. Start.
Achenu kol ben Yisrael. Achenu kol ben Yisrael. Hanetunim batzara ubashivya. Haomnim ben bayam uven bayabasha. Achenu kol ben Yisrael. Achenu kol ben Yisrael. Hanetunim batzara ubashivya. Haomnim ben bayam uven bayabasha. Hamakom Yerachem Aleichem Vayotzim Mitzara Levacha Ume'afel Aleora Umishibor Legeola Ashta Bagala Uviezman Gariva Hamakom Yerachem Aleichem Vayotzim Mitzara Levacha Ume'afel Aleora Umishibor Legeola Ashta Bagala Uviezman Gariva Achenu kol ben Yisrael. Achenu kol ben Yisrael. Hanetunim batzara ubashivya. Haomnim ben bayam uven bayabasha. Hamakom Yerachem Aleichem Vayotzim Mitzara Levacha Ume'afel Aleora Umishibor Legeola Ashta Bagala Uviezman Gariva. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Hashta bagala uviezman Kariv.
A reminder to anyone on the live stream who would like to send cards, you may send them addressed to the Neutra family, care of the Midway Jewish Center, and we will distribute them from here. Donations as well can be made to the Neutra family, care of the Midway Jewish Center, and the family will dedicate those funds after they get up from Shiva. We appreciate everyone just staying put for a few more moments. And those who wish to make a Shiva call, the building will be reopened this afternoon at 4 p.m. for Shiva visitations. At this point, if you are in the back rooms, please use the side entrance. If you are in this main sanctuary, you're welcome to go out the front doors.